Are you even able to tell if they are healthy or not? Do you know what it means to have very healthy breasts, and very healthy cervix? And to our husbands, our boyfriends, our uncles, our daddies, our grandfathers, our friends, your prostate, no. Is it also healthy? Do you even know what it takes for it to be healthy? If it is not, do you know? Remember that, January just went by, and January was the Cervical Cancer Awareness Month globally. Today is 1st February, right? Yes. But between yesterday and today, in the education, nothing is changing about it. We're even supposed to be learning these things all year round. So Dr. Promise Sefogah joins me this morning, and we're going to have that education. Let me tell you the story behind this conversation. So Doc had this conversation with the multimedia team, right? And after the conversation, I reached out. I said, Doc, this conversation is just too good to limit it to MGL. Let's have a bigger conversation so that a lot more people can benefit from it. And so he had to reschedule his things, align himself so that we all can benefit from this all-important conversation. Doc, good morning, and thank you for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And those of you who have been following 40 Weeks and More, that's our resident doctor right there. Doc, it's been doing well.
Great.
It's been doing well. The feedback has been awesome. And we thank God that, this week, I ran into a young man. And then, it was under such circumstances. I don't want to go into it. Then I am like, okay, so you seem puzzled. What's wrong with you? He was carrying something in a poly bag. And he says that his wife is pregnant. And they say she has blood pressure. So he went all the way. We met at Opunglo. He went all the way to East Legon Hills to go and collect herbal medicine to treat the woman's high blood pressure. And I asked, so who taught you that? He said some women in his area. Is this your first child? He says, yes. Has your wife been to the hospital? No. How many months old is this pregnancy? The pregnancy is about 7 months old. And so the plan is that he will give her the concoction. He takes it, and then when the pressure comes down, then they will start antenatal towards delivery. I was shocked, and I'm like, hey.
And this is in Accra here.
Okbonglo. Yeah. And I am like, hey. Yeah. People still live like this. 7 months, the lady has never attended antenatal. And it is area doctors who are saying that she has blood pressure, so go and get some concoction.
Unfortunately.
We have a lot of work to do.
We do, you see, and that's why most of our pregnancies with high blood pressures get a lot of complications because we're able to detect that your blood pressure is high only if you stepped up and came to hospital early, and then we can start interventions, because complications of high blood pressure and excessive bleeding, they are the two leading causes of death related to pregnancy in our country.
That's not the focus of our conversation this morning. We'll be getting into that some other time. But I was gutted,
Yeah. But the point is, once you're pregnant, once you've missed your period, go to the hospital. There's something called ectopic pregnancy. So when we do the scan early enough, we can detect that, so it doesn't burst in your tummy and you bleed and risk your life. Beyond that, attend regular antenatal so that your pregnancy can be safe. You can have a safe delivery. Herbal medication is dangerous in pregnancy. Dangerous to you, the mother, dangerous to the unborn child. And today we're talking about cancers and herbal medication. We are seeing increasing cases of liver cancer in our country here.
All because of herbal medication.
Herbal medication is a top culprit, and cancer of the stomach. So herbal medication, excessive consumption of herbal medication, your liver, your kidney, your stomach, there is too much danger to it.
And more so in a pregnant woman.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you know.
Dr. Promise Sefogah is consultant, obstetrician, gynecologist, and a fertility specialist at Shape Healthcare Specialist Medical Center. So, Romeo, the gentleman who does my artworks for me, he just decided to shorten everything.
Which is okay.
Shape Healthcare Specialist Medical Center. Right. That's where Dr. Promise Sefogah, and he is a senior lecturer also at the University of Ghana Medical School. Thank you, Doc, once again. And this morning, like I rightly said, we are asking you, how healthy are your breasts, your cervix, and for our men, how healthy is your prostate? Doc, let me start by asking you, why is this conversation important to us this morning?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. And I can't start without saying my congratulations to Joy FM for the 30-year milestone. You know, I recall when Maoli School then, when they started, so at dawn, somebody who managed to smuggle a small radio would open to Joy, tune to Joy, then we're listening to the likes of Archbishop Duncan William at dawn, you know. And that's the memories I have for the beginnings of Joy. And then Joy has been, a trailblazer. Good, yeah. So, yes, this discussion is important because globally, 500,000 women get diagnosed of cervical cancer every year. Human being,
That's a lot.
500,000. Okay? And so we're told that
Annually.
And majority of these, about 80%, are in the low-income countries like ours. In Ghana, for instance, the data we have says about 3,000 are diagnosed annually every year of cervical cancer. And about 2/3 of these, we lose them because we tend to detect the cervical cancer in our part of the world way too late. Okay, 7 out of 10 women with cervical cancer reports when it is already too advanced. When we detect cancer early, we have relatively less aggressive surgery to remove the cancer, and then that is life-saving. But if you leave the cancer till it's too late, surgery even is not enough, because then it has spread to other parts of the body. It has taken over vital functions of the body, and then all that may be left is what we call palliation. You know, treatment to make you a bit comfortable, you know, as the person passes. And so the whole world dedicated the month of January to stir up awareness creation on cervical cancer, which is why the whole of the first month of the year we've been busy talking to everybody we come across about cervical cancer. Have you had your cervical cancer screening? Have you taken your vaccine? How about your daughter? How about your other sisters, your aunties, your spouse? Because fortunately, we have the opportunity to prevent this through vaccination and regular screening.
Okay. Doc, so let's start. So we're starting with cervical cancer, and let's break it down. What is it?
Good. So if we say cancer in general, we basically refer to cells in a particular organ in the body that are multiplying excessively out of control. You know, so the whole human being came from 2 cells, 1 egg, 1 sperm. They came together and they form the what we call the embryo, 2 cells. These 2 cells became 4. The 4 cells became 8. 8 cells became 16, 32, and it goes on, and then you have a whole human being. And so a little child is born, the child grows taller because the cells are dividing until you become as tall as Edem Knight-Tay, you know. And then, so when all this programmed cell division is going on normally, we are good. But for one reason or the other, the cells in a particular organ can begin to multiply far in excess of what is required, and the body is not able to control it. Then it forms a lump there, and then it continues to multiply, and then it spreads to other parts of the body and goes to affect other organs. Okay, so the cell dividing is a natural thing, which is usually under good control, which is why if you shave your hair like my own, it grows back. I'll come and show you when it grows back. When you cut your nail, it grows back because the cells are dividing. But if that program division goes out of control, that is cancer. Okay? And so this cancer we're talking about, the cervical cancer, is a cancer that arises from the mouth of the womb. The mouth of the womb, it's a small organ. When a woman is washing and you put your hand under, your finger touches something which feels like the tip of your nose. That is the cervix, a small organ. And that becomes the seat of cancer. Wow. And because it's hidden there, this cancer can grow there for 10 to 15, 20 years without the woman having a clue what's going on, except she undergoes screening.
Wow. Okay. So next question, now we understand what it is, where the cervix is actually located, because I'm sure there are lots of people who might think that, sometimes the female reproductive organ is very difficult to, differentiate the different parts. So now that we know where it is, and like you're saying, it's very small and hidden all the way there. Yes. So how does it get attacked?
So
is it just with the cell division also at that part?
So there's something that triggers the abnormal cell division there, and that is a viral infection. It's a tiny virus which we call the human papilloma virus. Today, that's what you will say after me.
Human papilloma
virus.
Okay, human papilloma virus.
Again.
Human papilloma virus.
Good.
Doc, certificate, but now I'm half out.
LMOG. So this tiny virus is actually sexually transmitted. And so we are told that up to 80% of sexually active men and women have been exposed to this virus and are carrying it along. And how it works is that you engage in unprotected sex with somebody, and then this virus gets transmitted across. And so for the woman, this virus, if it's the cancer-causing type, goes to settle in the cervix and then begins to multiply and induce the cells to multiply out of control. Okay? And so it takes about 10, 15 years before symptoms of obvious cancer as a result of this human papilloma virus infection would show. However, whilst it is still ongoing, when we do the screening we are talking about, we're able to detect that, hey, something is changing, and then we can institute the interventions to deal with it.
Okay. Doc, let me ask before you go on. So this virus can only be detected when the screening.
Yes.
So when you have it or you're infected with it, you don't feel anything at all?
No. It's not like a flu that you got a flu bug.
It doesn't cause any form of discomfort?
It does not. That's the danger about it. Okay? Yes.
It will just be there?
It will be there, hiding there, causing trouble underneath. And this virus, we have different subtypes, over 120 different subtypes of the HPV. Two of them are the most notorious for cervical cancer. That's called type 16 and 18. Okay. Then we have others, 31, 33, 35. But these two are responsible for up to 70% of all cervical cancers.
I see.
Okay. Now, other types of this virus would cause things like what we call genital wart. Genital wart it starts off like a sandy rash.
Chris, do we have them now? You're still working on them? Because Doc has some pictures of some of these things. Are they on social media? Do we have them on social media? Okay, all right.
All right. Some of the images
these are quite sensitive.
Okay.
Hey, this is scary.
Yeah. So these are rashes on the external genitalia, on the vulva, the vagina. It starts off like a grain of sand, and it gets bigger, and they're particularly very itchy. Okay. So when a woman sees this kind of growth, like rashes, we call it warts, then it means that she's been exposed to a type of the HPV. Okay. But these warts are not cancerous. But if you've been exposed to this type, chances are that you may have been exposed to the other type as well, the cancer-causing type.
Doc, hold on. No. I mean, I think like on your own, right? You can actually Google genital warts in females. Then you will see what we are talking about. It's very gory. But Doc, question I want to ask is, usually the warts, it doesn't start like this, does it?
No, that's what
but this is actually somebody's.
Yes.
And they waited to this point.
Yeah. That's it. So that's why the whole point is, if you see something in your external genitalia you are not sure about, a rash, abnormal discharge, it's not in your place to sit on it. It could be pointing to something else. In men also, you have some of it causing these tiny rashes on the male reproductive organ, on the penis. Okay? And then it's a warning that this person has been exposed to HPV.
Something.
So then that person may be at risk of cervical cancer because they may have been exposed to the cancer-causing types.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's a pointer.
Okay, so if it is, for instance, these warts, then they're easily treatable, isn't it?
Yes, easily treatable.
Even when it gets to this point.
Yes, this one like this, we've had to surgically remove them, do some surgery to literally scrape them off. But when it is much smaller, we just apply some medications to it.
And then it goes. Before we go to the cancer-causing one, the type 16 and 18, the notorious ones, can they recur, the warts?
Yes, so sometimes they will recur when the immunity goes down. So it just through follow-up, we're able to
know whether it's recurring or not. And these can also be picked up during screening?
Yes, and they are also sexually transmitted. Yes. Fortunately, these ones are obvious for you to see. But I was saying to a group the other time that I'm told that usually sexual intercourse happens in the dark. So you may not see.
You don't see what is going inside of you. Oh my God.
So it hopes on everybody to, be careful. Am I wrong what I was told?
Maybe now before you turn the lights off, you probably will have to do inspection. That is if you're not with your husband. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So this is, at least when it is this type, then you know that you can be treated and then you carry yourself and go back home. But if it is what can be cancerous, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
So Doc, what sort of screening can you do for us to be able to recognize that, okay, you have been infected with the cancer-causing HPV?
Yeah.
And then from then on, what are people expected to do? Or women, what are we expected to do?
So a lot of the time, when you get exposed to this virus, once your immunity is up and running, the body is able to clear it. Okay, which is a good thing. But you do not know whether you've been exposed. You don't know whether you've been able to clear it or not. Some of the things that
even the cancer-causing type?
Yes, the body is able to clear some.
Okay.
Depending on your level of risk. So some of the risk factors which could put you at a higher chance of developing the full-blown cancer is when your immunity is down, for instance. For example, if somebody has HIV, AIDS, somebody has diabetes which is not controlled, okay, and other risky sexual behaviors, having multiple sexual partners,
jumping,
having a partner with multiple sexual partners, or having a partner who has had multiple sexual partners, right? So these, and then sometimes your immunity goes down from a lot of steroids. When we steroids through various forms, people use steroids. Now we see a lot of women using steroids to tone their skin and make them lighter. We have concerns about all these things. When somebody start sexual intercourse at a much younger age compared to when they started a little older, when somebody has plenty more children, when somebody uses the oral contraceptive pills for more than 5 years, which is why when we put you on it, you come for regular checks. So we're able to say, okay, at this point, let's switch to another type of contraception.
All of these put you at risk?
Wow. Okay. And so when these risk factors are there, then your body is not able to clear it. And so if it persists, then the screening is your next point of, saving. So what happens is a woman is supposed to undergo the screening anytime from the age of 25. Okay. Unless, of course, the woman has not been sexually active yet. And simple screening, cervical cancer screening, the commonest we do is the pap smear, which is a 5-minute procedure. We just take what looks like the cotton bud stick, is brush. We brush the cells off the cervix, put it on the slide, and it goes to the lab. It is analyzed. Okay, the cells are good, or the report says no, these cells are suspicious. Then we go further and do a testing where we put a special camera in the birth canal to examine the cervix, and we say, oh yes, this area has abnormal cells. So let's cut that small area off, or let's put some medicine to freeze those cells off, or let's do some specialized treatment so that we just remove that abnormal part. Simple life saving. It's called colposcopy.
Doc, you mean this very small organ you're talking about can undergo all of these?
Yes, easily.
Wow.
And these are life saving. Okay, so at that colposcopy, then we're able to, just early stage. So we've dealt with it, or it's even pre-cancer dealt with. Story ends. Of course, then we carry on with a follow-up. Okay, so the virus gives us a long window so we can intervene to prevent full cancer from developing.
So is it, because the things you're saying, they sound very simple, especially so taking the pap smear.
Yeah.
In some places now, you're even given what's it called?
The kits.
Yes, to go to the washroom, and then you do it yourself, and then you bring it. So it sounds really very simple, and that can be your lifesaver. Question on my mind is it lack of education?
It is.
That is making people not check.
Yeah. Lack of awareness. That's a big problem, which is why I'm happy you gave the opportunity for us to do these. And knowledge is power, so we empower you. And then you go to the nearest hospital, nearest healthcare center, nearest clinic close by. Say, I want to do my pap smear. You do it, the results are normal. We say, oh, you're good. Next year, come again. Or in 2 years, come again. The results are a little unusual. They say, oh, no, well, let me refer you to somewhere. We can do a follow-up, like the colposcopy, which we do at SHAPE.
Okay.
And then we do further testing. And then
we begin treatment,
yes,
if need be.
If need be, okay. But due to the lack of awareness, people are not even aware. Because, see, for the whole 10, 15 years that the thing is growing underneath, you don't have any symptoms. By the time it starts producing symptoms, it is too late.
But why is it like that?
Yeah, it is what it is, Edem. So we have to figure out how to deal with it so it does not get there. But you'll be surprised that even some of our women, when the symptoms begin to show, they still ascribe to so many other things and will not come to hospital. One of the common symptoms is a very offensive abnormal vaginal discharge. Extremely offensive. Okay? Extremely offensive that you can even detect it from meters away.
Hey!
Yes. But you'd be surprised that somebody has this and they still stay at home with it for that much of time. Some of the time you have abnormal bleeding. It could be that your menses have become longer or heavier. Some of the time the cervix, because of the cancer, when anything touches it, it bleeds. And so that woman would bleed when they have intimacy, or when she's washing down, her own finger touches the cervix, it provokes bleeding.
Okay.
Or the woman has her menstrual flow, it's not yet time for the next one and she's bleeding in between. Or the woman has attained her menopause. Menopause means that the woman is at that age above 45, 47, 48, 50. The menses have stopped for up to a year. It has not come. So once the period has stopped for 1 year, you are not supposed to see bleeding again. If you see bleeding when you're in your menopause, it is called postmenopausal bleeding. It is a sign of very important things, including and most importantly, cancer. It could be due to cancer of the cervix, cancer of the womb itself, in some cases cancer of the ovaries. Okay, so it's not a place for you to go and be chatting. Oh, you know me, after my menopause I was there and then I realized some old blood in me came out. I'm so happy it came out. No, it should bring you to hospital, because it is telling us that there is something cooking underneath. So these symptoms will show when the cancer has already advanced.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. So by the time you're seeing these,
it's even already late. And like I said, like 70% of our patients, and unfortunately we are increasingly seeing them increasingly in younger age women, between 30 to 40.
Seriously?
You know, these used to be above 60, but now, you know, and they come with advanced disease.
No way.
You know, so the key is avoid high-risk sexual behavior. You need to keep your immunity strong by adopting healthy lifestyle in general. Smoking, a lot of alcohol consumption, you know, and then keep a healthy weight, do your regular exercise. It stimulates your immunity so that in case you even get exposed, your body is in a good place to, you know, clear their infections. Then on top of that, regular screening. The most important thing by way of intervention now for preventing cervical cancer is the vaccination. So that is the key thing now.
Even in adults?
Even in adults.
Like
Thank
me?
you. Like you.
Oh.
Okay. We know that the science of it says it works best when we give it to the young girl before they become sexually active. And so any girl from 9 years and above is eligible to take this vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it protects you for life?
It protects you for life. The vaccine has been in operation for 2-3 decades now, and it's been good. That has been the game changer in the developed countries.
Okay.
You get vaccinated and you get your regular screening. But even if you're already an adult, already sexually active, the vaccine still offers you some protection compared to not taking it.
At all.
You know, so that is the message. Unfortunately, it is not available widespread yet, unfortunately.
The vaccine.
The vaccine, you know. And those are big policy issues we're engaging with. We're doing advocacy. And I know you're going to start adding your voice to that. We need to have vaccines for HPV in our country and available. For now, because it's not, it's mostly private sector driven.
And it's expensive.
It's expensive, you know. Once it's private, a private person has to import them. You know, we haven't really had very friendly tax regimes, you know, in the recent past. I mean, so it's a little expensive, but engagements are ongoing. And this is another opportunity that we want to say it to the powers that be, that let us prioritize the availability and routine use of cervical cancer prevention HPV vaccine. That's what other countries have used, and they have brought this down.
Wow.
But they are available.
So I'm going over. I was trying to write the symptoms, but I mean, what breaks my heart is that by the time you're seeing these, Doc, but are there chances that, I mean, lives can still be saved even when you get to this point? Or that's when you're just doing palliative care?
Oh, no. So, you know, we call something staging. When somebody has any cancer, we stage it. So if it's stage 1, it means it's fairly early. We're able to literally cure.
And you can still see the symptoms, and these symptoms can still come up in stage 1?
Sometimes. Or stage 2. And then stage 3 and 4 are the more advanced stages. And so, depending on what stage we catch it, yes, you may need some surgery to remove the tumor. If we are not lucky and it is spread to other adjacent organs, then surgery becomes difficult or impossible. Because this cancer from the cervix can spread up to the womb, can spread backwards to your rectum. It can go up to your intestine, to the liver. And then we're in trouble, because you can't go removing liver, removing rectum, then it becomes advanced disease. And at that point, we may just use some form of radiation, where we use the powerful rays to attempt to, stop the cancer cells. Sometimes we use the chemotherapy, which are very powerful medications given through the blood, which targets all the cells that are rapidly dividing, and so primarily the cancer cells are targeted. But like I said, other organs are undergoing rapid cell division, like your hair, the nails,
So
the lining of your intestine, they all get attacked, which is why when you're on chemo, the woman or the patient loses their hair, the nails get dark, they have a bit of diarrhea, vomiting. But these are just for the period you're on. Once you complete the course, everything goes back and they grow back. Yeah.
So the symptoms Doc talked about, offensive vaginal discharge, and he mentioned that you can even smell this meters away. And there are people who have these symptoms and they will still sit at home waiting for whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or some have this discharge. You see, vaginal discharge, if it's abnormal, it means that it is colored. The normal vaginal discharge should just be clear or at worst cloudy. It should not have any unusual smell. It should not be so much that it would wet your underpants. Anything beyond this is abnormal. So you don't sit at home or get some over-the-counter thing or get herbal medication because you do not know what is causing it. If it was for cervical cancer, it could be a serious infection which would spread up and go and damage your reproductive organs. And then in future, conception becomes a problem.
Challenge.
Which is a problem we're already seeing, that a lot of our women who are struggling to get pregnant, they have tubal damage from most likely past infections.
Oh, and these infections, I mean, yes, you talked about the fact that they could be sexually transmitted, but there are lots of other ways that women can, get some of these infections as well. Yeah. You talked about abnormal bleeding. Bleeding during sex, for instance, which is not supposed to be. No. Bleeding, sometimes you see blood when you're washing, down, your finger goes there and then you see blood. Bleeding in between your menses. Yeah. Bleeding after menopause. And so when you start having all of these, then it's important that you're running. Like, you should realize at this stage that you're late already. And the only, from what Doc is saying, the only time you may not get here is when you do your annual screening.
Yes, regular.
Which is a very basic pap smear. Yeah. So you do it. It means that if there's anything, it can be picked up very early. Yeah. And then we will be escaping all of these. Now I will come back to find out. We've talked also a little bit about, the treatment. I'll activate the phone lines. I'm sure people have questions. And then we will talk a little bit also about the breast and then the prostate. Because thing is that the men and the women, we are coming together to create most of these problems. Yeah. So we can't be talking about the women and leaving the men. Fortunately, when we talk about the breast, then the men are also included there, because they also have tiny breasts on their chest. So they are there. So maybe we've done for the woman. We'll go to talk about the prostate. And then we will put the, we'll put the breast in the middle. But I'm going to take a very, very, very quick short break. And I will be right back.
Hello, Ohima. Eti saying.
Ayo.
Na edahin.
Me kwatade.
Edie bensa.
Krachi. Obesuja na so be hwenkwen.
Na se jana de wo so a den kwan de wo hwem kakra.
Anyway, make up vitamin B de ajojo makoma.
What a coincidence. Me say no na me koto, no na me no.
Hey bra, wait dear wo boa.
Oh, I want to minti ntwa wontro.
Sawara.
Vitamilk no emu de he pa na we ni je ho.
Me pe Vitamilk banana any choco because I'm black and proud.
Hey, interesting. Me de me a regular guy oh. So wow.
When you kapao.
So wow. I can see we have something in common. Ohima, yanko ni yanko try a Vitamilk connection. Wo de bo me kana metia. Anye bia se kwan down.
E kwan be.
Na muni brebi. Vitamilk di foforo bia be kan busua ne ho a ye friend of Vitamilk strawberry. Vitamilk feels good anywhere anytime. This advert is FDA approved.
What makes you smile? Is it time with loved ones, pursuing your passions, or simply enjoying life's little moments? At Pinnacle Life Insurance, we believe that life insurance should do more than just protect your family's financial future. It should also help you live your best life now. Our policies offer comprehensive coverage, living benefits, and rewards to help you make the most of today because we think of wealth differently. At Pinnacle Life Insurance, we provide solutions that give you more for your smile, more time, more freedom, more joy. For more information on our policies, call us on 0501 451 400 or visit www.pinnaclelife.com.gh. Pinnacle Life Insurance, more for your smile.
From the day that I met you, girl, I knew that your love would be.
Another season of love is here, and we are living the experience in a special way.
Happy Valentine's to all you lovers out there.
Let's try something new, shall we?
This year, prove to the world that you're the 21st century William Shakespeare. Enjoy FM's My Endless Love Valentine promo.
Here is what you have to do. Write a captivating half-page poem about your lover, telling the world how much you love him or her and the wonderful qualities that make them the most special person in the world. The poem must end with my endless love.
Next, record a video of you reading out the poem to your lover with all the emotions you can employ and send the recording to us via WhatsApp on 055 1111997.
Go ahead and also post it on social media and tag us at Joy 99.7 FM. Remember to send us a beautiful photo of you and your partner and the title of your favorite love song.
10 lucky couples with the most captivating entries will be treated to a special dinner, music, dance, and other beautiful activities at the plush Labadi Beach Hotel on Valentine's Day. There's also a night stay up for grabs by one of the 10 lucky couples. Entries close on the 7th of February 2025.
Do not miss it.
If you're just joining us, you came in a bit late, but no, we still have a lot of time. We've been talking about cervical cancer with Dr. Promise Sefogah. Doc is obstetrician gynecologist. And let me add some to it for him. Like medical director who reports to his boss at Shape Healthcare Specialist Medical Center. And trust me, all the things we are talking about, you can get treatment at Shape. From your pap smear. Doc, I don't want to bite my tongue. The other one.
Oh, colposcopy.
Colposcopy.
Yes, that's not too bad.
You can have all of that done there. Someone is asking that, can they take their girlfriend or their wife to health facility to go and have all of these screens done? Of course you can. And doc say, and then the person is asking, how can I trust the doctor? And they say you will not go anywhere. So when you go there, it's important that the doctor has, is it a nurse or a chaperone, right? Yeah, who is always with the person. And so it should be done. And when you go to, facilities like Shape, you don't have any issues. So you want to, people are asking about contacts already. 0302 631880. 0302 631880. You can put that down. I will, mention it again before we go there. So you book an appointment, you go, you have all the conversations you need to have. And then, I'm sure when it comes to treatment and all that, once you're having conversations, doc, people may be saying that, oh, money and all that. I'm sure you can have a payment plan. You can have a conversation on how you can get all of these done. So first thing you have to do is grab a phone and make a phone call, make your enquiries, and then you proceed. Cost of treatment for cancer, cervical cancer, and all of those things will be way too more expensive than that initial phone call to have a conversation and know what to do. So please do so right away. Now, we're moving on to talk about prostate cancer in men.
I just want to also add, as part of Shape our contribution to society, this month we have done a very discounted promotional thing for the screening for the pap smear and the colposcopy. So I am told we can extend that for another 2 weeks because we're having this discussion. If we don't it's into February, another 2 weeks for the discounted thing. So we welcome them too. It's important people get screened.
Yeah. Look, thank you. I'm not giving it to you. I have to give it to David Delicious.
You are perfectly right.
Thank you very much, Team Shape. Hetty, I know you're listening to us this morning. Thank you also. So that you have it. Like, you should take advantage of it and make the phone calls. And half, you're doing what, half?
Yes, 40% on the pap smear and 50% on the colposcopy.
Wow.
That's a great deal of cuts.
For the next 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't see why you would like to miss it. And Chris, I should tell you that Doc put together some very beautiful slides, very educative, very simple to comprehend, and he's they're on social media, so you can follow the less sensitive ones. Those ones that are very sensitive, I'll tell you so that you can Google it and then look at it yourself. Oh, there was a message from somebody about pap smear, but Doc, let's start with a conversation on prostate cancer. Is it also caused by HPV?
No. So the prostate, for purposes of just understanding, the prostate is a small organ.
Why are they all small organs? Small organs creating confusion.
Yeah, small but important. So this small organ, just about almond size.
Are you serious?
Yes, when it is normal. But as we grow, and that this organ is at the base of the penis. You can't see it. So it's at the base of the penis, and then there also between the penis and the bladder. And it performs very important functions. One of them is to help regulate the flow of urine. And also, it produces some secretions that nourish the sperms. And so if the prostate is not there, then the sperm will not have enough food to eat, kind of. And when the sperm is coming on the way from the testes down before it gets out, the prostate adds secretion to it. So it's part of the fluid we see. So when the semen comes, it's fluid containing the sperms, and part of that fluid is from the prostate. But due to one reason or the other, the prostate develops cancer. And there are some risk factors.
Doc, I went to Google it. It's so tiny.
Yes, it is. It is.
Wow.
So the thing is, tiny as it is, as men grow, it gets bigger. It gets bigger. It gets bigger. Normally.
Okay.
So from the size of an almond, it can become like a lemon, like a guava, like an apple, then trouble is starting.
Oh.
Right. So when it gets bigger,
But is it supposed to remain like that of the almond?
no. As the man grows, the size
grows.
increases.
But it has to increase to a certain point.
No, so yes, or the extent to which it is increasing becomes abnormal when there is cancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so when the
Got it.
prostate gets bigger without being cancerous, it's called benign prostatic hyperplasia.
Doc, I'm not
I know,
practicing that.
I know. It's not even for you to practice. It's your homework. Okay. So it means the prostate is getting bigger, but it is non-cancerous.
Okay.
But if it is cancerous, it also gets bigger, and somehow the symptoms they produce may be similar.
Okay.
Okay. So when the prostate gland is getting bigger, it causes certain features which will be the warning signs. But why is it that somebody's enlargement will be cancerous and some will not be
Will not
cancerous?
be.
The commonest risk factor for prostate cancer is increasing age. Okay. Above the age of 50, the risk of prostate cancer increases. So that is why, say, from 40 years, the American Urological Society Association recommends regular screening, okay, when you hit 40. But of course, if somebody has a history, a family history of prostate cancer, their risk is higher. Being black
Makes the
race
risk higher.
increase our risk. Okay, a lot of alcohol consumption, a lot of red meat, smoking, fatty food consumption. Okay, these all together increase the risk of prostate cancer. Obesity, as a matter of fact, obesity, and even some of these things I've said, increase the risk for so many other things. Okay, and a lot of our obesity, a lot of it has to do with our what we eat and the portions we eat. So everybody's supposed to be mindful, because obesity causes so many problems across so many different organs, the heart and then the cancers. So when these risk factors are there, then you need more customized, personalized kind of screening regimen. Because if your father had prostate cancer, or a brother or a close relative, it means there is a family history.
It's in the family.
Yes. Okay. Now, if the prostate organ, the prostate gland is enlarged, you can imagine that the passage of the urine, that small pipe through which the urine comes, is called the urethra. It is passing through the prostate. So when the prostate enlarges, it squeezes on it. And so the urinary passage becomes narrow. So when that man feels like urinating, she feels a high sense of urgency. If I don't do this quickly, as though I'm going to pee on myself. And so we see that, especially in men above 40 years. If you see that the man, once he gets out of the car, the first thing he's looking for is the washroom. He's having what we call urgency. Okay. Now, also because of that narrowing, when they get there, the urine doesn't flow immediately. It takes time. That's what we call hesitancy. There's a bit of hesitation for the urine to flow. And when the urine is coming, it doesn't come very strong. It's weak. Okay, so the stream of the urine is weak. These may all be pointers. Also, sometimes the man has finished urinating and he's left by, he still feels like there may be some urine left. That sensation of incomplete bladder emptying. Or sometimes they are done, they've left, but they are still dribbling urine. Okay, so these are all suggesting that the prostate is enlarged.
But it's not to say that
It's
you have
necessarily cancer. Okay. If it is cancer, you may have any of these symptoms, but you may also see bleeding in the urine. Blood in the urine may also come from other causes, like some bad infection we call schistosomiasis, especially in the rural areas where people walk barefooted in water bodies. So we don't want somebody to develop prostate cancer and it is too advanced before they report, which is why we need to know the risk factors. Red meat, a lot of dairy product, animal product, fatty foods, and failure to consume fruits and vegetables. It's a problem. Okay, and so on top of all these precautions, then the regular screening comes in a man 40 years going have to get your prostate checked. And for that, there are various ways. The easiest is just some blood tests we do. And then we monitor the levels. Next year, we compare it to previous year, and we're able to advise. If it's getting to a point we have concerns, then we do other. You may do a scan to examine the prostate, or we do the physical examination to assess how big the prostate is looking. Simple stuff. Just so we can detect that, okay, it is just a BPH, the benign prostatic hyperplasia, or no, this is suspicious. If it's suspicious, then we may do something we call a biopsy. Take a tiny bit of it to analyze. Oh yes, it is cancer. Then let's go on and remove the prostate, to save the life. Because in men, cancer of the liver, cancer of the prostate, cancer of the stomach are the 3 leading causes of cancer in Ghana.
In men?
Yes, in our men. Okay? And all of it, excessive alcohol has something to do with it.
Wow. Apart from it having a family history.
Yes. Risk of alcohol consumption, tobacco. And for the stomach cancer, which is also becoming a problem now, we eat very harsh things into the stomach. A lot of salt. Apart from increasing your blood pressure, risk of stomach cancer. And then pickled foods. When I talk about pickled foods, the only example that comes to mind is salted fish. Especially.
Which one is that? Is it the Kobe?
Thank you.
It's not good.
No.
Someone says, hey.
I know. Okay, they are too harsh on the stomach. So stomach cancer is coming up as
so
a
doc,
big
even
deal.
when you can wash it very well, you boil it, you pour the water, or you soak it in water, so that it's still not.
Okay. If you can avoid that, there are so many other things you can enjoy. There's too much.
And
there's
they talk about processed foods too.
Excessive consumption of processed foods, fatty foods, salt. And they say a lot of smoked food consumption, a lot of that. So it comes down to moderation. But there are certain things we just have to avoid. Wow. A lot of salt consumption doesn't do your body any good. Period. You can eat your food without salt. Your taste buds will get used to it.
That's true.
In a few days, yes.
That's true.
But of course, do it gradually. Okay.
Wow. This is Home Affairs, right? And we're having these conversations because here's the thing. If you're down with any of these, your family is impacted. The love in the family sometimes, because of these problems, it will just fly out of the window.
It's true.
People are frustrated. If it's you, the man, and you're the primary breadwinner in the family, then your children are going to suffer also, because then who's going to take care of them? If your wife is down because of cervical cancer and all of those, the family will be impacted. That's how come it's very important for us to have some of these conversations on Home Affairs. And Doc, I like the conversation we're having today because we've broken it down. Like, you can actually understand. We're not in a hospital, or, it's not a medical class. So everything is broken down. So you can at least imagine what it is, and then you can go on to ask further questions. And that's why we will have some of these conversations on Home Affairs. It's simply because if it impacts the child, the mother and the father will be impacted. If your child is sick, you're either taking time off work, you have to do this, you have to do that. Yeah. If your spouse is sick, it will impact you. So if you're a man and you're listening for both you and your family. If it's the woman, the same. And that's why we are having these conversations on Home Affairs. Really very, very, very important to us. Doc, I'll come back to ask you also about, we've looked at the symptoms, which are really, a lot of them, lifestyle. Increasing in age, that one, everybody wants to grow
well. Yeah. So, you mean the risk factors?
The risk factors, yes. You want to grow well. So you can't say you don't want to grow. But as you're growing, some of these things can occur. And that's why you will have to
modify the
some
risk
of the things you do. The plenty red meat, the smoking, obesity, fatty foods, and all of those things. Alcohol consumption, too much of it, smoking and all that. And so you will want to really look at all of these things. The question is, I know there are people who are very stubborn who will say that all die be die.
I know.
Sometimes the pain you go through, I mean, there are some people who die very graciously and peacefully. You see, you want to go through all this pain, put your family on edge, everybody basa before you die, simply because you decided to be selfish. You know?
And you're so right, Edem. Cancer is very painful. Cancer in advanced stages, oh no, cause a lot of pain which is intractable. No amount of pain medications can completely take it away, and the kind of pain you don't wish even your worst enemy. And so
I heard,
if we can do something to prevent those, why not?
Especially these things too, they will save you money. The plenty money you used to drink the alcohol, you save some. The money you used to buy a lot of the fatty foods and things, you get to save it and enjoy proper life with it. So as much as possible, let's support each other. Wives, husbands, partners, let's support each other to make some of these right decisions. Doc, I'll come back quickly for us to talk about so how do you treat some of these things, and then we will quickly look at the breast as well. And let me see if I can activate the phone lines. Now I am under strict supervision from my team members. Now the joy of every parent is to see their children grow healthy and become more intelligent and physically fit. And to achieve this desire, every parent needs to ensure that their children are given nutritious foods that has the essential nutrients that can promote their well-being. And one of the best of such nutritious foods is Vitamilk soy milk drink. Vitamilk is made from whole grain soybean, which is a good source of plant protein, and it is enriched with omega-3, 6, and 9. It also has calcium and all the essential nutrients and multivitamins recommended for your healthy living. Vitamilk has no artificial colorants, no artificial flavorings, and there are no preservatives. So go on and choose the Vitamilk Champ for your children, because the protein, the calcium, the omega-3, 6, and 9 have all proven to help your adorable children grow smarter, healthier, and stronger every day. Vitamilk comes in its regular soy milk drink. You can have it in the energy booster with no caffeine, the choco, the banana, the strawberry. It is packaged in either the 250 ml or the 1 liter Tetra Pak. Vitamilk is indeed a nutritious beverage that feels good anywhere, anytime. And what makes you smile is a time with your loved ones, pursuing your passions, or simply enjoying life's little moments. At Pinnacle Life Insurance, we believe that life insurance should do more than just protect your family's financial future. It should also help you live your best life now. Our policies offer comprehensive coverage, living benefits and rewards to help you make the most of today, because we think of wealth differently. At Pinnacle Life Insurance, we provide solutions that give you more for your smile, more time for freedom, more joy. And so for more information on our policies, please call us on 050-145-1400. Number again is 050-145-1400, or you visit pinnaclelifeinsurance.com.gh. Pinnacle Life Insurance, more for your smile. And let me also tell you about our Valentine promotions. I don't know if you have, sent in your entry yet, but it's a very simple thing. You love your partner, right? You love your wife, you love your husband. If you're courting, you can be involved in this one as well. So we're saying that, write a poem, like a quarter page or a half page poem. Look at your partner very well, what they mean to you, and then you write it down, your own words, and when you're done, probably want to sit head down, or you can do it by yourself. Read it out very nicely with all the emotions and all the love inside of you, and then just send it to us on 0551111997. That's just all. We're going to select 10 people, and you don't know what we have for you. It's going to be a specialized dinner, right? Great ambience, coming together, the setup and everything, very beautiful. We're doing it at Labadi Beach Hotel for 10 couples, and you can network and all that. And that's what we are doing for you this Valentine. That's not all. There are lots of, hampers and packages coming with it. All of it is for free. What do you have to do? I love you, you love me. I'm just writing a poem and reading it out and then sending it as an entry, and then that's just it. You get to have an all expense covered Valentine. And then, one couple could also win a night stay. So that Friday when you go, you don't come back until probably Saturday evening and all that. So that's what we are doing for Valentine. You want to quickly get involved. And this evening at 5 p.m., don't miss 40 Weeks and More. Today on the show, we have Priscilla, who is sharing her story of how she got to know from age 5 that she had sickle cell disease, and how she managed it, the pain associated with sickle cell disease, the risk involved, how she told us about she not even being able to find somebody to love her, because everybody feels like you have sickle cell disease, you're going to die anyway, so why do I even want to be involved with you? Until one gentleman went like, no, let's try this. And then, the challenges, the ups and downs and all that, until she gave birth. Her first delivery, she had a set of twins. God can be very wonderful sometimes, So you want to hear the story. That's not all. She went on to have another baby, and she's still alive. She's strong. So you can have sickle cell. Hers is not the some way. This is like sickle cell. She's SS, and you should listen to the story. And there was a lot of education in there. We had Dr. Promise Sefogah was on the show, and then Dr. Eugenia. Doc, please say what you're saying.
And I said we will have that discussion.
Which are the discussions?
We will have that discussion.
Oh, yeah. So you want to be, you want to catch us at 5 p.m. on Joy Prime. We're also going to be on YouTube, Family Forum Africa channel. So you want to make a date and learn. Very important. Doc, right? Okay, first treatments for prostate. But let me also ask you, the consultation for prostate, because I know SHAPE is more of obstetrics and gynecology, right?
No, he's a multi-specialist.
Okay, so even with the men,
everything
is there. Yeah. Okay, beautiful.
Urologist, every specialist is there.
Yeah. Beautiful. Great. So it's a one-stop shop.
It is.
Beautiful.
And there is some promo on the prostate as well. All the cancer screenings, there's some promo for
the next 2 weeks. Yeah. Hey. Please take advantage. Doc, so what are some of the treatments available?
So if all these symptoms indicate, like I said, a prostate gland is enlarged, when we check and it's just the enlargement, but it's not cancer, some will just require nothing. We just monitor it.
Okay.
Some will require medication, but depending on how big and how much it is of a bother, then there may be the need for some surgery. And the surgery, it ranges from minor to mid-level to more radical ones where we scoop out the whole prostate, depending on the level. So the most important thing is let's prevent it. Let's modify the risk as much as possible. Let's do the regular screening. Once you hit 40, get it done yearly. And then we can then be able to see that, yes, there's a place for a biopsy or not, or there's a place for some surgery. Some of the surgery, we just pass the device through the urinary passage, and then we scoop it all out. Some we have to do the open one, depending on everybody's stage of the disease.
That sounds like it will be painful.
No, it's all done under anesthesia.
Okay.
Yes,
so
yes.
you don't
If it is cancer, then maybe they need to. Sometimes, if it is too advanced, we do this surgery that removes the testicle, because the prostate cancer feeds on testosterone, which is the male hormone. So if the cancer is very advanced and the person is already very old and cannot go through the radical surgery to remove the prostate, then some of these ones will come in.
I'm sure people are expecting me to ask this question. So how does this affect a man's sexual performance?
I mean, if you detect it early, the treatments are less invasive.
Okay.
And so it can still spare your sexual performance. It is when it gets too advanced, then you are even probably too frail and too sick to have a sexual function consideration. It all comes down to early detection.
Early detection.
Yeah, so we can preserve.
So if you have to remove the prostate, if the need be for the prostate to be taken off, can a man still have a normal erection?
Yeah, it depends on the approach. Some of the surgeries may compromise erection to some extent, but then if that happens, there are other remedies.
Okay, so I'm sure these are some of the reasons people would rather stay.
Yeah.
And not,
Yes, but then once we detect it early, then the treatments are not the aggressive ones which will compromise the erection, because the aggressive ones cause some injury to the nerves, which provides sensation to the male organ.
Early detection for men means screening.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we also heard that a man must, ejaculate a number of times, something like that, to help maintain a good prostate. Can you enlighten us on that a little bit?
I thought it's only the men who like to bring up this point, Edem.
Oh, Doc, they want me to ask for them.
I can imagine. Men's advocate. Yeah, I mean, there's some big study that was done, I think somewhere in Australia, that compared the number of times men ejaculated, and they found that those who had plenty more had a reduced risk of prostate cancer. And so that made all the men very happy. But it's in the context of all other risk modifying things, you see. So yes, there's some point that the more you ejaculate, the less likely. But if you just go ejaculating plenty and you are still drinking a lot of alcohol, smoking, doing all the other bad things, it will negate the effect.
Okay. Yeah. Ejaculation only by proper sex.
So this study did not distinguish between
All right. Now, someone asked a question. The urgency to rush to urinate in men, symptoms of possible prostate disturbance. What does it mean in women? I started experiencing that when I was on the field last week. I am a consultant with field work. There is limited access to washroom, so I try to limit my water intake.
Right. Good. So that's a very important one. In women as well. So generally, sometimes when there's an infection in the urinary tract, particularly in the bladder, it makes you want to pee more frequently. That we call it frequency of urination increases. But that urgency sometimes comes from a bit of weakness in the pelvic floor, particularly in women. A woman's pelvic floor gets weakened when she carries pregnancy to term, over and over and over, and then the birthing process, which is why after delivery we encourage women to do what we call those Kegel exercise to strengthen the pelvic wall. For some persons, despite all these, there's still some weakness just due to individual differences. And so if we determine that it is due to pelvic floor weakness, then there are some interventions, some medications to strengthen it after we have ruled out all other potential causes. But it's not a good thing not to drink water. So whether in the field or not, you have to still try and hydrate. In our environment, we advise that every day you consume no less than 3 liters of water. That's very good for your kidneys and for keeping you healthy.
Doc, okay, I'll add this to the other two that came up. But there's a question here that's quite worrying for me. It says that I was going for regular pap smear, which was always negative, but I was having periodic pains during menopause until biopsy revealed that I had endometrial sarcoma. I have gone through surgery, chemo, and awaiting radiation. Is there a survival rate? And yes, and then people were also asking why pap smear seems to be so expensive.
Expensive? Oh, okay.
But yeah, this one.
Yes. So, yeah. So the pap smear. So this is cancer of the uterus itself. The pap smear, we are screening the tip of the uterus, so it's quite different. But so, if somebody is developing this type of cancer, we only detect it when we do the pelvic ultrasound scan. So that's the reason why, even though the pap smear said the cervix was normal, there was this problem happening beyond the cervix. And she's asking if it is, it is good it's been detected. I'm sure the surgery for this would have removed the uterus. So for you to go through radiation means it has advanced a little bit. But yes, once you have removed the uterus, then the cancer is removed. There may be tiny bits of the cancer cell which may have gone beyond the uterus. So after the surgery, based on what we say go through radiation just to make sure we finish everything off. Yeah. Okay. So you're good.
You're good. Oh, thank God to hear that. This one says, Edem, my husband had a procedure called TERP. He doesn't ejaculate. What's that, doc?
So that's one of the treatments for the prostate. Like I said, when we pass the device through the urinary passage, and then we scoop out the enlarged prostate. So some of it, like I said, would compromise the nerves that lead to erection or ejaculation, and so that may be the reason. So sometimes, if somebody like this is going for that procedure, and they have not had children yet, then we do what we call fertility preservation, and that goes for both men and women. Before going through cancer treatment, we then harvest the woman's eggs, just so that the effect of the cancer treatment, like the chemo, which is potentially likely to, damage the ovaries, the egg reserves, we take the eggs and we freeze them. And so the same thing can be done in men. Okay. We take the sperm and we freeze them, so that after the cancer treatment, we can use them to enable them to have biological children. So it may just be from the procedure.
Okay, great. There's a question to here that says, I did a fibroid surgery and got my womb removed, but the doctor left the cervix. Do I still have to do regular pap smear?
Yes, you have to. Okay. You have to, because once the surgery was not able to remove the cervix is still there. The risk for cervical cancer is there, and so you have to do your regular pap smear without fail.
Okay, I have questions. Can you ask that, can a hysterectomy take care of all of these?
Yes, hysterectomy is the surgical removal of the uterus. And we normally will remove it with the cervix, unless for some reasons we leave the cervix behind. So if the hysterectomy removes the total uterus and the cervix, then there is no more cervix. So the risk of cervical cancer is reduced. Okay. The risk of cancer of the uterus or the womb itself is gone. Yeah.
Okay. And then can a 52-year-old woman take the vaccine as well? How effective will that be?
To the extent that the woman has not hit 60 yet, because at 60 that we say you don't need it and you don't need to do your pap smear again. Okay. So there's still a place for it.
All right, great. Doc, a little touch on the breast cancer. I think I have just about 10 minutes to be out of here.
Okay. Sure, why not? So the breast cancer, like we know, is the commonest cancer of women in Ghana. And we wish it wasn't so. And again, unfortunately, so every year now we diagnose a little over 5,000 new breast cancer cases as of 2022.
In Ghana?
In Ghana. So by now, I'm sure it may be a little higher. Okay, new breast cancer, 5,000, And unfortunately, again, more than 70% of them is already very advanced. just because, again, we are not doing the regular screening for ourselves. The breast cancer, the risk factors are being a woman, okay, because women get a lot more breast cancer than men, even though men also get it. The percentages are much less in men and in women. So being a woman, as you are growing in age, the risk is going up. If for some reason your mom or a close relative had breast cancer, that's a positive family history, so your risk is higher. If you have had breast cancer in one breast, the risk of affecting the other breast is higher. If you had your menstrual flow starting at a younger age, okay, like we see now, our girls are starting to have their menses very early.
9 years.
9 years, 10 years, 11. So if that happens, what it means is, you see, the breast cancer feeds on the female hormone we call estrogen. And so from birth, when you reach puberty, that's when your estrogen levels spike. It gets to a high level. That's what gives the girl, child, adolescent, the female features. They're beginning to develop breasts. They have the curves. They have all the things that will make them feminine. And so from that stage until the girl reaches menopause, she's been exposed to high levels of estrogen naturally. So if you have your menstruation very early, and for some reason your genetic makeup, your menopause came late, then you've had a long period of estrogen exposure. That would also increase the risk compared to if somebody's menses started a little later, you know. And then when a woman gets pregnant, it breaks the cycle. So pregnancy, breastfeeding is protective. So that if somebody did not have children, then their risk is slightly higher. Okay. And then other things like increase oral contraceptive, the hormonal pills for a long time is also not very good for the breast. Obesity and lack of exercise, those are other important risk factors for breast cancer. And for the breast, the woman, you are in control, because sometimes when it is starting, all you will notice is a bit of lump, which is painless. It will not even be painful. If something gives you pain, you are likely to go digging after it, but it may be painless. And the only way to detect it is when you check. Sometimes it could be an abnormal nipple discharge. When you are not breastfeeding or you're not pregnant, you're not supposed to see discharge from the nipple, whether milky, yellowish, greenish, or bloody. So any of these things should bring you to look for help. That is why we say the woman, and also sometimes skin changes on the skin of the breast. The skin may begin to look like an orange peel. You know, so we say, as a woman, the risk is there. As you're growing, the risk is there. And so, do yourself a good. Every month, do your own self-examination. And it's simple. We say stand in front of the mirror every month. Apart from using the mirror to do your
makeup,
face painting, okay, strip before the mirror and take a look at your breasts. So basically get familiar with your breasts, so that when some dimpling is forming, you're able to detect it. No, this wasn't there the last time. Okay, and after that, you are supposed to divide the breast with an imaginary line into 4 quarters, and then you use the flat of your hand to squeeze each quarter onto the chest wall to see if you're going to feel any lump between your palm and your chest. As simple as that. Okay, and then you raise your arm, and then because the breast has its tail into the armpits, okay, which is why sometimes when people are pregnant and the breast is filling up to get ready for breastfeeding, they feel some swelling into the armpit. Okay, you do that. When you finish, then you squeeze the nipple to see if there's anything coming. Simple. Every month. And when we are not supposed to do, you're supposed to remember and do it. So some people say, can I do it during the time of my menses? We don't really advise it, because the hormonal changes might make the breast feel a bit lumpy and tender, and so you may not be able to detect something. So it could be the day, your birthday, if you're born 20th of the month, so maybe every 20th you do something like that, so you remember to do it. And then once a year, you need to have your breast examined clinically. Okay. These will help us to detect it early, so that we don't have a lot of our women coming in stage 3, stage 4, with advanced breast cancer, and we are losing far too many women. Yeah.
Sure. So there we have it this morning. We've spoken about prostate, we've spoken about cervical cancer, we've spoken about breast cancer. And like I said, all of these for us are very important because you belong to a family. If anything happens to you, your family is impacted. And if you can do some of these simple things, somebody was asking, Doc, before I forget, that is pap smear the surest way of detecting cervical cancer, like the HPV?
So the pap smear, now we've even gone further, where we do the pap smear, apart from just the cells to see if there are changes, we look for presence of HPV DNA in the cells we've taken. And those are some of the advanced forms we do now, so that it goes beyond to see that, hey, there is presence of HPV activity. And so the HPV may not have started causing obvious changes yet, but we're able to detect the presence of the HPV's DNA in the cells. And then we lead up to the colposcopy and then prompt interventions.
Okay. Oh, Shirley, I think Doc has mentioned that. I thank God that you've gone through. He says, good morning, Edem. I finished my 6th session of chemo after I was diagnosed with ovarian malignancy. I was to know if I want to know if I'll be fine again. I lost my hair, eyebrow, and eyelashes. My color has changed.
Yeah.
Doc says those will
come back.
Yeah.
They'll come back. It's a matter of time.
We thank God you're getting better.
Yep.
And everything will come back. Okay. I see your messages even to Pastor Mike asking for prayers and all that. God is with you. So we're wrapping up on Home Affairs now. And like I was saying, do it for, if you like, don't do it for yourself. Do it for your loved ones. Do it for the people who care about you. Do it for the people who are depending on your strength. You know, your family, your children, your spouse. Do it for them, your parents and all that. Take care of yourself. Last week we learned that the money, when we make it, we should chop some. You don't have to save all of it. And you need to be healthy to chop the money. Yeah. It's important. So that's why we're having some of these conversations. And we're wrapping up today. I do hope that you have learned so much. Once again, remember that you can go to Shape Healthcare and have all of these conversations. You see the way Doc is talking nicely on the radio. It is the same. The value is the same when you go to the hospital. All the people you meet, like the nurses, everybody, they're very sweet people. And look, their environment is like somebody's living room. Like, you don't even feel like you are in a hospital. So you get better really quick when you go there. So make a date. Number to call again is 0302 631 880. 0302 631 880. And when you go, remember to tell them that you had them on Home Affairs. Then, yeah, the treatment will be extra special. I mean, it's the same for everybody, though. But finally, the joy of every parent is to see their children grow healthy and become more intelligent and physically fit. And to achieve this desire, every parent needs to ensure that their children are given nutritious foods that has the essential nutrients which can promote their well-being. And one of these is Vitamilk soy milk drink. It is made from the whole grain soybean, which is a good source of plant protein. It is enriched with omega-3, 6, and 9. It has calcium and all the multivitamins you need for your daily living. It has no artificial colorings, no artificial flavorings, and no preservatives. So go on and choose the champ for your children, because the protein, calcium, omega-3, 6, and 9 in there have all proven to help your adorable children grow smarter, healthier, and stronger every day. You can have it in the regular soy milk drink. You can have it in the energy booster with no caffeine, the choco, the banana, the strawberry. And you can buy it in the 250 mils or the 1 liter Tetra Pak. Vitamilk is indeed a nutritious beverage that feels good anywhere, anytime. Catch us 5 p.m. on Joy Prime. Wednesday show comes your way. Right after that, you will have News File, and then the rest of our programs continue. do have a very beautiful weekend. For all of you who are celebrating your birthdays, happy birthday to you. Yes, Doctor.
Yes, I just like to say a quick shout out to the team at Shape Healthcare Specialist Medical Center. You've been amazing this month of January with all our outreaches and awareness creation. Thank you. And to say thank you to our MD, Mrs. Henrietta Sefogah, my personal David Delicious.
David Delicious. Yeah. I like that one.
Thank you for all the support and the care. Indeed. It's a month of love. I love you. Yeah, and of course, the Sam George Challenge. So my wife takes good care of me. You take good care of me.
We're out of here. Thank you all very much. My name is Edem Knight-Tay. Bye-bye.